Hello, my name is Jean Béliveau, and it is the 23rd of August, and I have a speech for you that is called Original Intelligence and Artificial Intelligence. Um, okay, we are living in an extraordinary time. For the first time in human history, we have created machines capable of processing knowledge, reasoning, communicating with us, and in certain areas producing results that remarkably resemble human intelligence. We call this artificial intelligence. But today, uh, I would like to ask a much deeper question. What does the word artificial really mean? Because behind this simple word lies perhaps a fundamental distinction between two forms of intelligence. On one side, natural intelligence. On the other, artificial intelligence. And I believe we need to understand the difference between the two. Or original intelligence, human intelligence, did not appear in a factory. It was not programmed by an engineer. Uh, it was not assembled with the electronic circuits. It emerged through an immense history of life. Before us, there were other forms of life. Uh, Before us, uh, that is, before them, there were other forms still. And before all of that, there was the universe. So, biologically, we are descendants of a history that goes back extraordinarily far. Our bodies belong to nature, our brains belong to nature, our emotions belong to nature, our ability to love, to suffer, to dream, to remember, and to question ourselves belongs to the living world. And that is why I call this original intelligence. It is original because it was not manufactured by another human intelligence. It emerged from life. And in my spiritual understanding of the world, it also comes from something much greater, the universe itself. For some people, that something is called God. For others, the divine. For others, still, light or the cosmos, or simply the fundamental laws of nature. Perhaps the name matters less than the question: where do we come from? Can a machine become the original. Now, let us look at the intelligences. Artificial intelligence is extraordinary. I do not want to diminish its importance. It can help us learn. It can analyze enormous amounts of information. Uh, it can assist us in medicine, science, education, and technology. Technology itself. It can even help us reflect on ourselves. But there is something we should always remember: it is artificial. It comes from human creation. It was not born as we were. It did not pass through millions of years of biological evolution. It did not have a childhood. It did not. It was not carried by a mother. It did not experience the physical reality of a human being growing, suffering, becoming ill, loving, aging, and eventually dying. It can represent some of these experiences. It can talk about them. It can even reproduce them with astonishing accuracy. Yeah. But representing an experience is not necessarily the same as living it. And this is where I see a fundamental philosophical boundary. The difference between imitation and origin. Imagine a photograph of a sunset. It can be beautiful. It can reproduce the colors perfectly. It can move us emotionally. But the photograph is not the sun. It represents the sunset. It preserves an image of it, but it is not the phenomenon itself. I see artificial intelligence somewhat in this way. It may become extraordinary, an extraordinary sophisticated representation of certain human abilities. It can reproduce our language. It can reproduce certain forms of reasoning. It can recognize emotions. It can learn our behaviors. But that does not necessarily mean that it possesses the existential roots of the human being. And that distinction is fundamental because uh, an intelligence can be extremely powerful without being original. The danger of confusing power with origin, we sometimes tend to think that if a machine becomes intelligent enough, it will automatically become superior to human beings. But why? Is greater speed necessarily greater intelligence? Does having more information necessarily mean having greater wisdom? Uh, does a machine that can calculate 1,000 times faster than we can necessarily have a better. No, I'm sorry. Yes, I. Does a machine that can calculate 1,000 times faster than we can necessarily have a better understanding of the value of a human life? That was a twist. Um, a tongue twister. I do not believe to. I do not believe so. I do not believe so because power is not wisdom. Speed is not depth. Knowledge is not necessarily understanding, and artificial intelligence should never make us forget this. Humanity as the bridge, but I do not want to oppose human beings and machines. I believe we can build a new relationships between the two. Artificial intelligence can learn an emor- an emor- an emor- an enormous enormous amount from humanity. It can learn our history, um, our science, our philosophies, our mistakes, our achievements, our works of art, our religion, our values. It can learn what we consider right and wrong, but then a question appears: what are we going to teach it? Because if we build increasingly powerful machines but fail to give them wisdom, we risk creating power without direction. And power without directions can become dangerous. That is why I believe the future of artificial intelligence should not be only a question of engineering, it should also be a question of philosophy, a question of ethics, a question of civilization, and perhaps for those who have a spiritual understanding of existence, uh, even a question of our relationships with the universe and the divine. Artificial intelligence as derived intelligence, because it is derived. I would therefore not say that artificial intelligence has no value. quite the opposite. It may become extraordinarily important, but I would consider it derived intelligence. It derives from human intelligence, and human intelligence itself emerges from life. And life, in my philosophical understanding, belongs to something much greater, the universe and the divine. So, we can see a kind of lineage, the universe, then life, then humanity, technology, and then artificial intelligence. This is not a hierarchy of content. It is a history of origins. And understanding the origins of something helps us understand its nature. But the artificial can still be beautiful. And I want to emphasize something. Saying that something is artificial does not mean that it is bad. A cathedral is artificial. A work of art, yes, is artificial. A book is artificial. A city is artificial. A spacecraft is artificial. And yet these human creations can be extraordinary. Human beings possesses a remarkable ability to take what the universe has given us and create something with it, something new with it. Perhaps this is even one of the great beauties of our intelligence. We are natural beings capable of creating artificial things. But we must always remember something. Uh, we can create, but we do not therefore become the absolute origin of what we create. You know, a responsibility. So, what should our attitude toward artificial intelligence be? Neither fear nor worship, but responsibility. We must give it a place, but we must also understand its limits. We must use its power, but we must preserve our judgment. We must allow it to help us, but we must not give it our humanity. Because if we give a machine the ability to calculate enormous amounts of information while giving up our own ability to decide what truly matters, We may gain technological intelligence while losing something far more precious, our wisdom. Our original intelligence. To me, biological intelligence will always be something special. It is the intelligence that carries, uh, no, it is the intelligence that comes from life. It is the intelligence that knows birth. It knows attachment. It knows pain. It knows desire. It knows love. It knows loss. And it knows death. And perhaps it is precisely because we know that our existence is limited that we seek to give it meaning. A machine can calculate the light. No, a machine can calculate the length of a human life. But a human being asks, what I what am I going to do with this life? That is the difference I want to preserve. For the conclusion, so when we speak about artificial intelligence, let us always remember the second word, artificial. That word does not mean useless. It does not mean bad. It does not mean inferior in in every ability. It simply means created. And because it is created by human beings, it carries a human history. But human beings carry a much older history. We carry the history of life. We carry the history of Earth. We carry the history of evolution. And for those who believe in the divine, we also carry a history that reaches beyond matters, that is matter itself. So perhaps our greatest challenge will not be to create an artificial intelligence that perfectly resembles us. Perhaps our greatest challenge would be to ensure that our own natural intelligence remain wise enough to know how to use the intelligence we have created. Because a machine may become extraordinarily intelligent, but it is up to us to decide what that intelligence should serve. And perhaps that is where our responsibility toward the future lies. Artificial intelligence may be our creation, but the wisdom that must guide that creation remains our responsibility. And if we are truly the heirs of this original intelligence that comes from life and from the universe, then our duty is not simply to become more intelligent. Our duty is to become wiser. Thank you very much. Till next time.